Armor sets. There is a bunch of them in Hypixel Skyblock, as you can see at this amount of pictures we have here. And today I'm going to be rating every single one of them I put in here. I skipped some which are just not even worth talking about because they are so bad. And that includes like Skeletor armor, Skeleton Grunt armor, Skeleton Soldier armor. But out of those mob drop armors, I just put in every single one that's relevant. So, yeah. Anyways, the first armor I will be talking about is this one, which is Farm Suit armor. It's pretty bad, but you can make it when basically in the first minute when you start a new profile by just crafting hay bales and then crafting this. This is mushroom armor, and during the night it can give similar EHP compared to gold ore, but firstly only during the night, and secondly you cannot use it in dungeons, and thirdly it's just garbage anyways. F tier. Farm suit armor used to be absolutely horrendous, but now you can upgrade it into some more armors, which I'll be going over later on. So, D tier. The armor of growth exists. It's not good though. Next up we got leaflet armor, which is just pointless. I've seen so little people use it, and quick question to them, why? There is no point. Rosetta's armor is kind of a scam. It's nothing with the price or something. It says it's its own armor set by saying Rosetta's armor. But it's just a plain old diamond armor enchanted with growth 1 from years before Rosetta even was added. So, yeah. Squire armor is just not good at all. Apparently it's used for the deep caverns, according to Rosetta at least, but not really worth mentioning at all, so yeah. And that's why I'm also putting Starlight armor in F tier as well. Simple as that. However, mercenary armor is actually alright. It pairs well with the mercenary axe and gives you more coins whenever you kill a mob. Now some of you may go like, but bro, what's that even useful for? Well, actually for early game money making it's pretty decent, so I'm gonna give it a C tier. The miner's outfit exists, to say the least. It's not good though. However, lapis armor is actually a popular choice for early game people, but still not really a good armor set. It exists since the very beginning of Hypixel Skyblock though, so just because of the nostalgia, I'm gonna give it a D tier. Miner armor is just pointless. It gives more defense in the mines, like gold mine, dwarven mines, and other mining islands. But it's still useless because of the existence of some other armor sets that are just way better. And there's like little to no danger on those mining islands anyways, so yeah. Hardened diamond armor used to be a relatively popular choice for some more early game people in 2019. For some reason you could also see those people in the dark auction back then, but right now it's just pointless. For some reason you can even dungeonize it. Mineral armor and glossy mineral armor are pretty much the same thing, but except that glossy mineral armor is, well, slightly better and also looks cooler in my opinion. So I'm gonna give a B tier to both because they're really useful for mining stuff like endstone which because of the range of the pickaxes and stuff you gain from the armors, and also for ores. That's it though. Goblin armor used to be really good for a cheese, which you did with the Gloomblock Grimoire and the Withercloak sword. However, the Withercloak sword got nerfed by having a 10-second cooldown after it and the ability not lasting forever anymore. So just because of it having a pretty cool time in the spotlight, I'm going to be giving it a D tier. Glaciate armor is great though. It's cheap and great for early game mining in general. And also gives some solid EHP, so A tier. Heat armor is basically never used, but it has some upgrades, so D tier. Those upgrades are Flamebreaker armor, which is also basically never used, but it's okay. But only because of the existence of York armor. It's really cheap and you can apply topaz gems on it, which is great for gemstone mining, and it's a great early mid-game mining set in general, so A tier. Sorrow armor is absolutely crazy. It gives true defense, which is great against Blaze Slayer, even though most people just use something else against them. And also really great for Magic Find, which is just really useful if you need good drops in general. For example, a Warden Heart. So, well deserving the very first S tier. Divan's armor is just a big endgame mining set. Great for everything that has to do with mining, but also pretty damn expensive. So yeah, and that's also everything that it does, so A tier. Golem armor exists for sure. It sucks though. I just realized I put the cactus armor into F tier where it should stay. And yeah, this is actually armor of growth. But they're both belonging to F tier, considering they're both absolutely useless. Even though you can craft armor of growth into mastiff armor, I think, it's still useless. Same goes for the Monster Hunter and Monster Raider armors, even though they have Iron Man use. It's just worth going for the Monster Hunter armor because it's cheaper. So D for that one and F for its upgrade, because that's just too expensive and needs more stuff to do so. For example, a Spider Slayer for the boots. The armor of Magma and Emerald armor both used to have a legacy, but the former is just no longer obtainable because of the Crimson Island update. And nowadays they're both completely useless and overpriced. Amber armor is also pretty useless, considering it all it does is just give you this weird ability that makes you walk over lava, but the aspect of the end exists anyways, and this thing skyrocketed in price. Still F tier. Same for the Rekindled Amber armor, but it's worse because you have to kill a bunch of pigmen, making it just too hard to obtain for what it does. However, Ender armor is great for early game, but only on the End Island, and that place is a solid way to make money in that stage of the game with summoning ice and stuff. And it's just a solid armor set overall. Easily A tier. Now we've gone over a really great armor set. Time for a really bad one. Rampart armor. It seems like a good armor set for early game, but it's soulbound and you need to kill Crimson Owl mobs for it, which have too much EHP to be actually defeated in early game. So F tier. Berserker armor is very underwhelming, as the chestplate, for example, is pretty damn strong on first glance, but it's not legendary, so nobody will actually use it over the main damage armor set like Necron armor, making that just pretty useless to go for. Shimmering light armor is just kinda dumb. Yeah, it boosts experience, but you know, Grand and Titanic experience bottles exist for a reason. So don't go for this one, you're just wasting your money and time. I didn't even know zombie armor was a thing, and now I just want to go back to not knowing what it even is because it's absolutely useless. Blaze armor was used by people who AFK goblins, but it's outshined by its upgrade by a ton, so D tier just because it has of it having a great update. Speaking of the upgrade is Frozen Blaze armor, which is absolutely insane. In combination with a legendary Blaze pet, it's better than Necron armor, and not even by a little, by a landslide actually, but only if you are not using like a at least 300 mil bank G-Drag with Necron and slash or level 100 legendary Ender Dragon. But Frozen Blaze armor is very cheap and can give you more EHP as well, so easy S tier. Angler armor. It looks cool and that's pretty much it. It's okay-ish for super early game fishing, but there's better options to go for. Salmon armor is that option and it has a bit of a backstory. When it was added, it was actually epic, not rare as of now. But the admins just decided to nerf set armor set into the ground by just making it rare and decreasing the secret chance. However, the epic rarity salmon armor is crazy expensive, but I don't have it. But still, just because of that, I'm going to be giving this set an A tier. Diver armor is pretty good for fishing, so B tier, I guess. Sponge armor is also okay for fishing, but it's just a downgraded version of Diver's armor, so C tier. Meanwhile, you got shark scale armor, which is the best set for non-lava fishing, I think. And that's pretty much all. And I don't really like fishing anyway, so B tier again. That was not something else. Next up, we got Thunder armor. It's a great armor set for those who can afford Magma Lord, but just want to go for something that's actually great for fishing. So A tier. Speaking of the Magma Lord armor, it's really good for, well, lava fishing, and lava fishing is just like a billion times better than regular fishing, so S tier. Yes. The armor of the Rising Sun actually has a really long backstory. So back in 2021 or something, there was the dictator named Dante, and he got elected for some reason, and Technoblade and other players decided to tear him down. So yeah, that and the Staff of the Rising Sun were the only way to actually damage the final boss form of Dante, which is a giant slime that destroyed everything. And funnily enough, nobody even managed to kill it with that thing, but with the slash kill Dante command, which somehow worked when it was just executed by a player that isn't even an admin. D tier for its story, but right now it's pretty much useless. But Technoblade's Armor of the Rising Sun is absolutely crazy, as it gave him more stats the more people actually elected him. Rest in peace, legend, by the way. Perfect armor isn't so perfect. Jokes aside, it's great for tanking and just being a pretty much budget gold or set, and it recently got an upgrade where you can actually get it to a higher tier than it used to be, I think 13, and it gives crazy good defense. So A tier or something, I don't really know. Snowsuit armor is just kinda there. It's meant to be used for the Season of Jerry, but that thing appears like every week, so it's just kind of pointless actually going for it. So F tier. No, wait, D tier, because there's an upgrade called the Nutcracker armor, which I actually forgot to include in the list, but that set would be S tier. The Kudra follower armor, however, is more a bit of a flex. I don't really know what stats it gives, but it just exists as a flex. And yeah. Spooky armor is another pretty pointless one. It's meant for the spooky festival, but the bad person armor exists for a reason. F and C tier for both of these. The cheap tuxedo is bad, but you need it for the Romeo and Julia quest or whatever it's called. And yeah, that's the least expensive armor set of the 3 tuxedos, and I recommend getting that one for the quest because you don't have to dunk millions. Just D tier because of that. Anyways, next up we got Fancy Tuxedo, which again just is kinda there because it's outclassed by another armor. And that armor is the Elegant Tuxedo. It's used to be the best armor set for damaging, but another armor set got introduced and dethroned it. However, it's not even that expensive in comparison, and the chest plate is really good for Diana as it gives so much damage. So B tier because B tier because it gives so much money, the event. Werewolf armor is pretty funny because it gives so much ferocity and it's just overall really fun to use, and that's it, I guess. So C tier. Oh boy, the dragon armor set. Young is perfect for just running around really fast and used by endgame players that just want to venture back into the lower floors for just clearing really quickly. For master mode, they'd use a different set for that I'm going to be going over later on. But still A tier because it's just, again, really fun to use as well. Old Dragon armor is a popular choice for early game tanks, as a set to use before another one called Necromancer armor. And because of that, I'm gonna give it a B tier, I guess. Wise Strength armor is a popular choice for beginner to mid-game mages, and it's overall just a great armor set, so A tier. For Protector armor, I can repeat everything I said about Old Dragon armor, so again, B tier. Strong Dragon armor is a popular choice after Unstable, which for some reason I forgot to add to the pictures, and that set would be A tier because it just does more damage, Strong Dragon armor. So S tier actually for that one because it's the best one for its value. On the other hand, however, you got Holy Dragon armor, which is just stupid. You know how Old and Protector armor already focus on EHP? So they just thought, why not add a third one for healer? But you know, the state of healer, it's just there for pre-deving or to actually use for that. And the radius of the full set bonus is just too small anyways, so D tier. Superior Dragon armor used to be the best of them all because it just dealt so much damage and was just a great armor all around. However, the only reason why people use it nowadays is because of pet luck when hyper sweating dragons. So C tier, I guess. Speedster armor already screams for F tier because it gives so little speed, and there is just so much better options instead, like Young Dragon armor. So yeah. You know what I said about farm armor recently? So melon armor is basically just its upgrade, and it's great for people who just try to go to the garden and do everything they need to do. So B tier. Cropy, Squash, and Fermentor armor are all used for later on farming on the garden, so I'm going to be giving them B, A, and S tier respectively. Rabbit armor exists, I guess. It's just a meme though. What I just noticed is that I added Reaper armor to this list twice on accident, but that armor set gets a C tier because it's just solid for Zombie Slayer, and that's pretty much it. Oh wait, never mind. I am just stupid again. That is Tarantula armor and that's Reaper armor. Tarantula armor, I would give it an F tier because who even cares about Spider Slayer? But I have to give it an S tier because of the Tarantula helmet, which is just way better than stuff like the Necron's helmets. And also like 1/10 of the price. Mastiff armor is absolutely broken, like literally. You can wish stack where you only have to wear it and then the healer wishes. And then you just go back to your main damage armor set and the absorption shield stays and makes you pretty much invincible. And it's also used for the Trial of Fire, which gives you a free accessory. So S tier, easily. Armor of the Pack, however, is completely useless. Like, what even does it? Final Destination armor, however, is just great for Enderman Slayer, and that's it. I'm gonna be giving an A tier, however, because of the existence of the Terminator and Juju Shortbow, which you only can get from there. Alright, Dungeon Armor set time. Now, I only included the ones that are actually worth going for, and the ones that I didn't put in were the regular heavy armor, Skeleton Grunt, Skeleton and Skeleton Soldier armor, alongside Skeletor. And that's why we're going to be starting off with super heavy armor, which is easily a C tier considering it's just a decent early mid-game tank armor again. Rotten armor is just great for stuff like Berserkers on early game, like super early game dungeons, and that's pretty much it. C tier. Zombie Soldier, however, is used by early game mages because that just cannot survive with Y-Strang armor, considering it gives more EHP, and just people that cannot really survive in the lower floors. So again, C tier. Skeleton Master armor, however, is absolutely nuts. The only piece that actually serves use on it is the chestplate, which just outclasses the Necron's chestplate when you're an archer. So S tier. Next up we got Adaptive Armor, which is again just kinda exists. It's early game dungeon armor that just adapts on your classes, but it's rather used by berserkers or mages rather than anything else because of other options. So D tier. On the other hand, however, you got Shadow Assassin armor. You can replace the chestplate with a Zombie Knight one, and that's again an armor set I forgot to include, and I'd give that one S tier because of that. And said chestplate is so good for its price, and yeah. And not only that's the reason why I'm giving it an S tier, it's also because of how just good it is in general. Necromancer Lord armor is basically the same but just for tanks, and basically makes you completely invincible in stuff like floor 6. So S tier. It's also used by mages that cannot survive with just Y-Strang armor then, but only past like F6. F5. Now we actually got the big daddy armor sets. The Wither Lord armors. Wither armor itself isn't that great, but it can be upgraded into its 4 variants, so B tier. Necron armor is the best choice for berserkers and archers that are just trying to be done stuff like floor 7 and shit. So S tier. Storm is the same but just for mages. Again, Gordo is the same just for tanks. And Maxor just for apparently archers, but it's again outlasted by Necron armor, but just then used for people who can one-shot mobs but need more speed. Most people use the Maxor boots over Necron boots because of set speed, so again, S tier. Next up you got the big Kudra armor sets. Starting off with Crimson armor, it's the best choice for just overall damage outside dungeons. It can be upgraded around 59 times to Inferno, and that makes it better than Necron, but already on the burning tier. So yeah. Aurora is the same but just for mages, again outside dungeons of course. Further, however, for tanks, but it sucks because basically no one actually tanks there, but it does give great EHP, so I give that. And Terror is just the same but for archers outside dungeons, who just that set makes you deal crazy DPS, so S tier. Hollow armor, however, is just pointless. Why would you even go for this? Apart from maybe one-shotting Enderman Slayer with the Hollow Wand, which I only know Future 77 did. So yeah. And no, that's not because I have something against Future 77, but just because the set is pretty useless. Finally, we got the only full Rift armor set. Wild armor with a Y instead of an I. It's there for the Rift, so C tier I guess. But it's not really for like later Rift game or early game. So yeah. This is the tier list. Let me tell me what you think about it. If my opinions were good there or just not at all. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye.